This is Detective Jason White with the First 48. You are listening to the Nonsense Chronicles with Doug and Rob.
Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. As usual, this is Doug Sashery, and even though he doesn't need to sit to my right, he is sitting to my right.
Today, Rob Mendiola.
Hey, Rob.
How's it going, Doug?
Good, man. We have no guest in studio today.
We don't. Yeah.
No, it's out of studio.
It's lonely.
Yeah. So, but since we recorded an episode, you just wanted to stay on that side. Is that?
I did, man. It's a little less. I don't have to switch mics and anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, today,
yes,
joining us way out,
all the way
in Sacramento, is Stef of Stef's Rock Show. Hey, Stef.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. You're out in Texas?
Texas,
we are in Texas, yeah.
And you're in California?
Yeah, she's in California.
Yeah, I lived in Austin, though, for a year.
Oh, wow.
So
I know, and I swore when we met, I swore you lived in Oklahoma. I thought that for sure, but apparently.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Because I love Tiger King and I hunt too, and so I feel like a lot of people think I'm Midwest Southern.
Yeah.
You know, I am not your typical Californian.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
But you were born in California.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Sacramento and went
wow.
down to LA for 7 years.
Wow.
So kind of been all over.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, because when I met you, we were in Tulsa.
Wow.
Remember at a drowning pool show?
That is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And so I spent a lot of time in Oklahoma too, because my best friend went to college and medical school there. So for 8 years, my best friend lived and went to, so I would fly into Oklahoma and hang out there a lot.
Yeah. See? And yeah, that's what I said. And then we had talked about, well, let's do the show one day. And yeah, a show on a show. So
It happened.
That's right. It does. And yeah,
We've done a couple like that.
yeah, we have. And
Actually, a guy from Oklahoma has his own show, Jason White.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. In fact, he was at that show that night. We, Steph, me, and CJ were walking back from a restaurant, and Jason was sitting on the sidewalk on a little stoop or something, and he had a hat on. And I walked right by him, and then he said, "Doug." I was like, I thought it was a drifter getting ready to come and get me. No, it was Jason White, the detective from the First 48 TV show. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a surprise. Yeah, but
so Steph has her own show in California.
she has her own show nationwide, man.
Yeah,
She
awesome.
does.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
does video podcasts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. In fact, I think you were there. Weren't you there tracking down CJ? I think.
I was. Yeah. I had CJ come by, and then I had Ryan and CJ when they came up to Aftershock Music Festival last October. And I love those guys. I love Johnny
Yeah.
Pool so much.
Yeah, I do too.
Very nice.
Thank you, Gallbladder, for not allowing me to go out on that show. Yeah, that sucked. But
Well, with your organs, you got to choose organs over music sometimes. You
Yeah.
know,
yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, that
priorities.
Yes, I peeled off and I was actually in Oklahoma City when they were getting ready to go out there, and I peeled off and I had to come back home for that crud. But hey, better there at home than on the road, you know. So
Yeah.
do you fly a lot? Is that what I'm getting?
I don't fly a lot, but I mean, I just flew a couple months ago, and I will say I'm flying out to DC in May next, and I'm going to be scared to fly for the first time because of all of these issues recently. Have you guys been watching all of the flight problems and
Yeah.
landing gear issues?
Yeah, they
Yes.
have. And you know what?
Scary.
I quit flying in '99, and it's not because I'm afraid the plane would crash, but just because anybody knows me. They've been around me enough. They'll see that I can't sit still that long. And if I had to wait on the tarmac for 2 hours, like some of these people had, and you see these people get up and they're going to kill me. The guy goes crazy, or the woman that sees people that are not there, that would be me. So I kind of giggle, but I'm like, that might be you, Doug, if you had to wait on that plane for 2. Yeah, I could not stand being locked up like that for that long. I can't.
I don't like it, and I have to drink. Like I'm that person that gets to the airport really early, and I make friends. I literally made a friend that like works with Vans Warped Tour last time in the airport. So I always make a cool friend, and I drink for like 3 hours before I get on the flight.
It's either, and hey, it's either that or Xanax. It's got to be one or the other. And
I get toasted, and then you're like, you don't even know where the fuck you are. Worried about waiting.
That's exactly right. Yeah, no, I'm going out to Scotty Austin is running through California in July, and I'm going to go run and check some markets out there for us, and also pop in and see some of his shows. And I have my youngest move to Corvallis, so I'm going to make that PCH run for the first time in my life. So it'd be nice.
Oh, nice. And I love Scotty Austin. I just had him by the show again recently, and he's such a genuine, great person too. So I want to see him. I think he's going to do a Sacramento show as well.
Yeah, he's got that. It's in July. In fact, yeah, that is true. I never thought about that. Yeah, because it was like, I think there's either 2 or 3 dates right now in California before he goes up to a show in Portland. Now, of course, I'm breaking all the rules because that schedule will not be officially released until April 1st.
Damn it, Doug.
I know, but
Oops.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even releasing the fantastic part on that one. But yeah, they yeah, that'll be nice, and I'll definitely have to look you up when I get out there. I'll bring you some. Did I give you some spices last time I saw you? Probably not, because you were flying.
Yeah, that'd be. I know I didn't get spices, but I was going to say I just recently tried a bunch of hot sauces live on the podcast, and that was really fun. So I like spicy stuff. I'm in for it.
Good. We like to, Tony Satchers, we like to make good food taste great. Like I'm a Cajun. I don't like stuff that's too hot, but I like it flavored. I like it to bring out the flavor. But we have the hottest, and we have a milder, so we do have about 5 different ranges you can go in. So yeah, when I come out,
I'd like to try it.
Yeah, when I come out there in July, we'll make that definitely happen. I got So tell me what's going on with you?
What's your show about?
Tell us
overall
about the show.
For those who don't know.
So it's really fun. So it's kind of a combination of, I interned at Playboy Radio XM. I had a college night metal show, and then I have a YouTube show. And so it's all of that put together. So I interview rock stars, porn stars, OnlyFans chicks, comedians, kind of anyone I find fascinating that's doing something really cool. I have them by, and I try to make them uncomfortable. Like, what my show is known for is I'm going to ask a wild sexual question, because everyone's like, what's the name of the album? When did the single come out? And it just gets redundant. So my show is like, did you bang a groupie? Do you use condoms? Like, have you had it's very, it's a wilder rock and roll based show.
I mean, that's rock and roll though, right?
Yeah, but hey, that's different.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, when I'm talking to people, I love to get a shock out of something. That's why I hated COVID, because of the mask, because people couldn't see your face when I was asking them a question like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like saying something that'll get a jaw drop for just about a half a second. Then they realize, I'm just pulling their leg or something. But yeah, I think that's what life is all about. We had I'll tell this story, and Scotty tells this damn story in the crowd at multiple shows. I have it's a charity I'll cook for that they do an auction for, and I've done it in several different homes in North Houston side, and one year up near I live now, because we're really great friends, but you would never would have thought with it. But I got there within 5 minutes of me being in there. Everybody was already giving each other shit, and well, I'm no enemy of that. I'm like, I'll jump right in, and I see the host. These people have paid multiple thousands for me to go and cook in their home, and the host, the woman, the wife, she's got little tattoos on her fingers. So Doug just has to go there. Hey, what club do you dance at? and yeah. And she goes, and she said, I had cancer. And I was like, oh. And, way to bear trap that, Doug. And then Scotty will go on and he'll tell the story. Well, that wasn't good enough for Doug. About 30 minutes later, it's like, hey, why don't you have any kids? He goes, oh, because it was cervical cancer. I'm like,
Damn.
way to go, Doug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Foot and mouth.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anything that'll kind of like poke people a little bit. And, I never do stuff that'll intentionally hurt anybody. I never try to do that, but it's,
But you're good at it.
yeah, but I am good at it. I just, a little fun, but, no, your show, that is
That
very
sounds-
cool.
Yeah, that sounds very cool.
Cause it is different. And,
Yeah, it's really fun. It's only been 11 months of my own solo podcast away from a station. So it's been really fun that I have complete control and I can do whatever I want and have on whoever I want. Like, dude, I'm talking to Tim Dillon. He's like one of my favorite podcasters that's on Joe Rogan all the time. And he's going to swing by my podcast.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what?
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked. So stoked.
hey, you know as well as I do. Once you start mingling with people, you never know who you meet. So it's all a
That's what's cool
possibility.
too. I've been like hanging out with rock stars for 20 years and I have a lot of their emails or phone numbers or their managers. And so it's like, it was easy for me to start a podcast out of nowhere because I have so many contacts to just be like, hey dude, are you doing anything new? Do you want to come by? Are you free? Let's do it.
Yeah. See, that's the like I said, that's a convergence of you never know. Like when that night with CJ, with Jason White was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
you never know who you're gonna run into. So it's it's a cool industry. And I think it's really fun to get out there and meet people, and it's no different than most people do in their lives. Like I do. It's pressing the flesh, shaking hands every damn day.
So do you have your own
I know.
YouTube channel?
Yeah. So Stef's
Okay.
Rock Show, Stef with an F. I'm mainly on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. I have an X and TikTok, but like I post the full podcast and they're all visual on YouTube and Spotify. And then I do clips or up to 20 minutes on Instagram.
Cool.
And like I was gonna say, networking, like it's so cool. We have the biggest metal festival in the US now called Aftershock. That's 4 days in Sacramento. In October, and now it's like Blink-182's coming, and Kourtney Kardashian is going to be flying in because she's married to Blink-182's drummer Travis. So
Right.
it's like, wow, like backstage is going to be a Kardashian. That right there is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try
that
to
is
snag that.
that
They
is-
run the world, I guess, right
Yeah.
now, man. I don't know.
It's fun. It's that's what I do now is I work with our musical influencers, but it started out with food. But if you'd asked me 4 years ago about influencer, I would have probably died laughing, But it's changed so much, and one of the I'll never forget. I guess it's more than 4 years now, but I mean my because COVID kind of folded time, but
Yeah.
I guess maybe
Seriously.
maybe somewhere around 17, 18, one of my daughters sent me when Miranda was probably still in high school, and sent me a clip of the Kardashians, and they had a little can of Tony Sashers in the background. I was like, well, I'll be damned.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I have a good because I was in LA when reality was taking off, and a lot of people teased reality. This was in 2009, 2010, right? Like it was just kind of getting huge, even though Road Rules and Real World had been around. Like Jersey Shore popped out,
Yeah.
and you're thinking like, who cares? It's their first season. Nobody really knows them. I'm in this nightclub, and it's a launch of a sex toy. Such a random, party to be invited to.
Yeah.
Fucking Leonardo DiCaprio is
Wow.
there at the launch, but he turns around from the bar and he sees Snooki and DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore, and he leaves his drink at the bar and freaks out and runs to meet them and talk to them and was like
Cool.
starstruck. So that was like my aha moment in my brain of like, wow, these reality TV people are becoming with these famous actors on
Yeah.
the same level. And now it's obviously that way everywhere. But that at that moment kind of, they weren't invited into some club still in 2009.
Wow.
Like it wasn't acceptable, and then it really has turned full circle to where I think in pop culture, more reality stars are known worldwide than actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it is, and I mean, it was all brought on by. I mean, they had a couple shows first, but remember they had the strike, and then the reality shows just. Well, we can't use actors right now. Reality shows just came out of the woodwork, So
The writer strike, and then also it's cheaper. Like just from a financial standpoint,
Yeah.
people just want to get famous, and now they're getting a platform afterwards to sell products and make money. But it's so much cheaper to launch a reality show than pay for a giant production set for a sitcom or a movie.
Right.
very much like a musician, like a guy that owns the band, and he needs somebody to replace it. Oh yeah, let me hire this very young, hungry guy, and he'll work for cheap. That's that's exactly.
Why do you think guys get fired and then they get the hired gun that's just stoked to be with the band because they can pay him 1/4 of what they're making? Yeah,
that is right. That is
happens too often.
It happens in every industry, but yeah, that's something we see quite often. Yes, yeah, that's definitely true. Well, where did you work in radio?
So I started at University of the Pacific in college, or KPAC, and then, like I said, I transferred to Playboy Radio in Hollywood in 2008. So that was like my big break. And still, it was just an internship, but it was where I networked, like where I jumped off. I decided, because I'm literally running around making coffee and all these famous celebrities are there, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel and just hand them my business card that I printed free online to come onto a YouTube channel that didn't exist. And so I would be like, this is a huge deal. You know what I mean? Like, I have this show, and like, I had no guests and I didn't know what I was doing. And like, these huge directors and celebs were coming on with my tripod where I'd meet them at like a coffee shop. And like, that's how it started.
Oh my God.
That's cool though.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I was like, I have this show. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And then from Playboy Radio, I transferred to Rock 96.7 KMRQ, and I did a morning show, Bueller, Brent, and Stef, for the mornings for 6 years. Then I went out to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest, and I didn't come back. So I ended up going to 101X out in Austin for 10 months, and then I came back here at 98 Rock in Sacramento. And I did that for 2 years, and then I had my 2 kids. So I've been taking a break for 4 years to raise my 2 kids. And that's why I started the podcast, because I'm primarily parenting them, and I still want to do something where I could drop them off at school and log in and do my hobby.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
You obviously do know what you're doing, though.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I've been in the game for a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a solid following already, so you're doing good.
Yeah, I was shocked by how many people, because I deleted all my original social media. I did the whole marriage, going to be a mom. I was worried about wild shit that I've said being out there.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Now
That
I've
is the
come
thing,
full
yeah.
circle, midlife crisis. I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. I made this brand new page 11 months ago, and now I'm full blown, like, this is me. Take it or leave it. It's staying up here.
Yeah.
No, that's a good attitude to have. People either accept you for who you are, or they never will. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's on the concert agenda this year? What festival is Aftershock it, or are you going to hit any other festivals this year?
Well, I'm hosting Steel Panther next Saturday downtown
wow.
Sacramento at Ace of Spades. I love those guys.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
with them in LA since 2009 at the Viper Room. So I'm hosting their show. I'm always hosting. So like, I'm hosting Tim Montana. He's like a country rock from Montana artist. But yeah, the big show is always Aftershock, and I got more responsibility this year than I normally do. So it's cool. I'm like a contributor and an assistant. So I'm going to be posting and making reels and interviewing the bands before the show and then during the show. So like, even though it's 7 months away, you guys know, like, for a 4-day festival with 150 bands, that's my baby right now. That's like my focus.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a production.
That's going to be a blast, though.
It's a doozy. Yeah. And like, I reached out to 150 bands in 48 hours with press kits to come by the show. I like barely slept. And so I just finished that a couple days ago, and now I'm waiting to schedule the band. So we're just going to be hyping Aftershock. That's like my side project.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, because I've seen that during I did the first 2 legs of that last year. I did Rockville, and I did Sonic Temple, and they come and they get them. There's a lot of golf carts involved, and they interview the band. Usually, I think it's usually after, but I think there was some stuff before. But people are running left and right nonstop on that deal too, man. It's insanity, but it's also very well organized. I'd have to give.
Danny is a god. Like, I love Danny. I've been working with him since 2014. He throws the best, like you said, Sonic Temple, Rockville. He throws the best festivals I've ever seen. And the food's great. There's a bunch of security. Safety is his number one priority. And you can't go wrong. I don't want to go to another festival after you go to a DWP Danny Presents like festival.
No, those were so nice. Like I said, it was so well organized, and I loved it. I was really I was trying to sneak Tony's on all the tables and where the bands were all eating and stuff like that, and it was a nice setup. It really was, and very well organized. A lot different than my memories of big festivals 20, 30 years ago. Just it was a different world. So anybody that goes will have a great time.
Even like I used to do Vans Warped Tour and Mayhem Festival a lot, and as much as I've had fun there, they were both very chaotic. Like catering was late. Nobody could find where anybody was. Like the cell towers weren't working. Like Danny even brings in high-speed internet and cell towers. So everybody's, communication system works. Like he just thinks of that over and beyond safety, like I said, and like it's sick.
Well, it's funny you talk about that because now they've moved it because of after COVID started, they moved it to the fall, but Rocklahoma, I can remember not being able the year that Korn came in and took Ozzy's place. It was in 2019. The communication, trying to get even just a cell was just impossible. You could barely get, every once in a while you get a text out, but it was this bad weather coming in, and just didn't think too much of it. But out of the blue, which I would have never thought would have happened, I had walked back to my car for a second, and a buddy of mine from Tulsa called and said, he called me on Facebook. Facebook audio actually, messenger call actually worked, and nothing else would. And he said, "Man, we've got 2 tornadoes coming your way. Y'all need to be careful." And I've showed you. I've showed Rob some of the video from just anybody that had like the small merge tents out. They just got destroyed. But it was, and we didn't get directly hit. But Korn had just got off stage, and I was actually able to ask Head about that because I said, "Hey, how was that weather when you were there?" And it
was scary.
It was scary, man. You could hear the alarm up front, but in the back, like where the Dark Side stage was, you couldn't even hear it.
Wow.
And I went back there because I had friends playing there. I said, "Hey," told the guy running, I said, "Man, tornadoes coming." What? And they got on they hadn't told
and
them.
Nobody knew because the communication
nothing. Yeah, because the communication was
That's
bad.
So dangerous.
That is very dangerous. And
you guys know what interests me? Like, how you become familiar with what you grew up with, and it just becomes more normal. Like in California, we grew up with little earthquakes and it's normal. And then you guys grew up with tornado sirens.
Yeah.
So when I hear a tornado siren and I'm visiting Oklahoma or Texas, I'm freaking out, dude. I'm getting a little panic attack. I'm trying to keep it together like nobody knows, but I'm not doing good. And everyone that's grown up there is just like eating their food. Like, well, that went off again, no big deal. And then same when I have friends that visit from out of town in California and they're like, "Did you hear there was a 4.5 earthquake 2 hours away?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. We got a little aftershoke, I'm going to take a nap."
It's weird because like where we're at, we're right north of Houston, northwest of Houston. So we're right outside of where
kind of tornado alley.
Yeah, tornado out now. But we get the hurricanes.
We do get tornadoes here, though.
Yeah, but we get the hurricanes especially because but we're used to it and we know they're coming. But yeah, when I travel, especially Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's known for it.
Just that in Kansas. I've come back and
my girlfriend was in Norman, Oklahoma, and I swear every time I visit, there's a dang tornado again, and I'm like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the little town right next to it, Moore, is like the magnet. Every time they have a bad tornado, it seems to go through Moore. And but no, it'll be weird. I've been in California before, but just a couple times, and it was quick ins and out. I've never experienced earthquakes, so I'd imagine if that would happen, I probably would. What about when you're driving? Do you feel it at all?
I've never felt one while driving, but it's funny. I've slept through a couple that my friend said they jolted up. So I'm just like a solid sleeper. I've done enough drugs and alcohol in the past that I don't feel shit anymore. Like, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, that's out there.
I'm like, am I shaking? The house shaking? Is this like a PTSD?
That's funny.
From the drugs. But no, I've never like really felt. Oh, I know one time I was out at the park with my kids and I was like, whoa, that was silly. Like, my equilibrium was off. And then I found out there was an earthquake a couple minutes later on my phone. But and I'm in Sacramento, is a very safe area of California. like San Francisco and LA are on fault zones.
Right.
And so they're in like more dangerous areas. We're away from the ocean. So I'm not worried about an aftermath of, you know, an earthquake bringing in a tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not on like a fault line. And so it's a very like good place for California.
No, I'm gonna hit all of that when I go up there. You know, I want to hit that. I want to hit the.
You're gonna drive right along this San Andreas.
Well, they actually have like little markers where you can go
Yeah.
on the bridge and all that kind of stuff, and then also, you know, like I want to go to the Winchester House. I want to go see the Redwoods, and there's tons of things I want to do. But since my kid lives up there and now, I can do it on, you know, over different trips. You know, so. But yeah, I'm a road.
That'll be nice to take the scenic route, you know. And
Yeah.
I like to drive too. I would drive up to Montana a lot because my grandma used to have a ranch up there. So it's a 20-hour drive, and I'd break
Wow.
it up in Salt Lake City. And, you know, so I do 10 and 10. But I actually love the road. It doesn't bother. I have a dog, you know, my whole
Yeah.
life. So I like taking my dog and getting in the car and just getting some music, you know. And
Oh yeah.
the only reason I don't drive is because of my kids. So I only get Friday to Sunday kid free. So to interview a band or visit a friend, I have to fly. So I don't take up a whole day driving.
That's right. That is very smart. That is very
Those kids, man, they really switch. They change your life up, man. I can't just jump on tour buses anymore or anything, you
Yeah.
know.
No,
It's
that's,
rough.
Yeah, that's
Rough.
why mine are 230s and 120, and I or 220 with Laura's kid, you know, and I inherited the dog with her, and I'm like, okay, but after that dog, that's it, because I go and I leave, and you know, I want to just take off, and
Oh, I can't wait to have freedom again. Even though I'm a long ways out, my boys are young. I just cannot wait to again to be like, well, I want to sell my house and seriously get a tour bus because I have friends all over the U.S. and just be like, hey, I'm in your state. What's up?
but
Yeah,
you know as
that'd be
well
cool.
as I do how much those tour buses break down now. Come on.
They do. But literally, I'm about to have a mental breakdown from staying in a house and not moving somewhere and getting around. So I like to be on the move. I'd rather break down on a bus.
I get you. I might do.
You take your kids with you and homeschool them on the bus.
Shit, dude, I wish I share custody. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not just my decision.
That's true,
I have a
I feel
baby
that.
daddy / ex-husband that's like, no, don't go anywhere.
Oh my
And, you know,
goodness.
I like
Yeah.
getting my breaks. I really do. Like,
And
I
kids love
enjoy
traveling.
I miss them.
Yeah, kids love
They
traveling
do.
too, though. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and we go to LA a lot because there's Disneyland and Universal Studios, and that's a 6-hour drive, but we do that like twice a year.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a long ass state, man.
Are you
And
kids?
I know that, you know what cracks me up when someone drives 2 hours and they're in another state on the East Coast, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Like, you can drive for like 14 hours
I
and you're
know.
still in California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do the cross Texas.
Texas
route
is huge, too, yeah.
10 on 10 is pretty damn long, but it's California is no different. Yeah, it's very strong.
I'll never forget. I got into the panhandle of Texas and I was like, I'm in Texas. Like, I'm in Austin, you know, like I'm there. And then I looked at my GPS and I think it was like 8 more hours or something. I was just like, oh my God. Dang, when it said welcome to Texas, I got this jolt of like, I'm there.
I'm here. No.
Andy?
Yeah. No.
No. you're
And
not.
when it's a shithole. I'm so like the panhandle of like West Texas.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
a great
rough.
area to
Well,
stop
it's
and
just-
get gas in.
Well, no, there's just nothing there.
There's nothing there, yeah.
I mean, I've been in El Paso once, and I went into a store to check out shelves and see what was going on, and it was around 5:00, and I said,
El Paso?
"Yeah."
Oh, like it's west. Yeah,
and
way
I
west.
was coming back from California and
Yeah.
Vegas and all that. And I said, "Yeah, I can do this." And I said, so I just kind of laid back for about 20 minutes. Said, "Let's go." But I got really tired before. I mean, it's a drive just to
Oh,
get
yeah.
to hotels like close to San Antonio. You know, it is really a drive just to get there.
Yeah.
And no, I made it. I remember I got a room in a hotel, and they had one room left. Like when I said the woman I think we're sold out. I said, "Ma'am, I got a room, and I swear if you don't, I'm sleeping on that couch right now. You know, I'm tired."
Yeah. I have a funny story of Houston, actually. You just reminded me of. So, same thing, Steel Panther. And Satchel from Steel Panther, the guitarist, said, hey, I'll sit down and do a long interview with you if you come out to the Houston show. You're on the list backstage. And I was in Austin. So I was like, okay, cool. It was like a couple hours drive. So I didn't book a hotel. I also think I was like paycheck to paycheck, right? So it wasn't like I had all this money to just book a hotel ahead of time. And I was like, you know what? I'll get one when I get out there. Well, I get out there with my girlfriend, Cassie, and everything's sold out. Like it's a Saturday, you know, and I'm going to every hotel. And then we start on our phones calling every hotel. Nothing. Finally, we're like, dude, because I wanted all my stuff put down so we could go to the show, and it's not in my car. So finally, the only thing available is Quality Inn in some really dangerous part of Houston. Like, but that's it, you know? And I'm like, we're going to get drunk and we need to Uber back somewhere. So like, wow. So we get a room at this Quality Inn in Houston and we put all our stuff there. Actually wasn't bad at the time. Like we came back, there was no riffraff partying. We didn't get woken up. We just passed out drunk, right? We wake up in the morning really early, hungover, and my girlfriend Cassie, we had 2 beds. She turns over and looks at me and her eyes get massive, like she's seen a ghost. She's like, Steph, don't scream and move fast, but you need to come to my bed and we need to get out of here as soon as possible. And I was like, what? And she's like, look behind you. And I look behind you. I shit you not, to this day, it's the biggest spider I've ever seen. Like it looked like a tarantula crawling out from my headboard, behind my headboard.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm from California. Like we don't see big spider, nothing like that. And I think it was only $70 for the room, but I was like, we're going now. We packed up all our shit, like hungover. I drove back to Austin because that was like the scariest way I've ever woken up in a hotel room.
Yeah, next time you're in, check in with us because we host a lot of bands. Yeah, it's at our house.
Now and like this was 2011, you know, so this was like a long time ago. But I was just like, I slept all night with a giant ass spider behind my headboard or on me. Who knows?
Earthquakes don't bother her, but a little spider does.
Spiders,
But no, this was trust me, I'm not scared of spiders, and I actually used to have a snake, so I'm not like that squeamish girl. And this was a big ass hairy guy. Like I don't know what it was.
No, I've stayed in a couple of low-end band hotels before, and trust me, I remember not getting under the sheets, curling up in a fetal.
Yeah, it probably was
the
fecal
position.
There was fecal matter on the
That's
sheet.
right. Cause I was scared of that. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a little nap. I don't want to get under the covers. Yeah. I mean,
I feel you. I was like on top of the comforter, and then I was worried about bed bugs, not a giant spider.
That's what I'm worried about too when I go, and I'm like,
I'm always checking for that when I used to stay at shitholes. Now I'm pretty good. I'll get it together, or I have a friend now, you know, in different places, and so you know, I don't really get hotels anymore, and so, or I plan to sleep with someone in the band, so you know, just to have a nice place to sleep.
There you go. Yeah, you know, I know
you got to set that up ahead of time.
Yeah.
Last year I booked for Aftershock, and I want to say they don't have like a lot of Hilton properties, but they have a lot of Marriott out there, and I can't remember what Marriott property was, but it was, I think it was like $550.
Wow.
I said,
well, they raise all their prices for Aftershock because they know you're screwed. What my friends say is the best deal is an Airbnb. Like the Airbnb don't always know that it's Aftershock, and they stay lower.
That's probably true. Yeah.
I don't doubt that, but this was like, I want to say like 0.3 miles from the festival, and because the only time I don't take care of getting my own stuff in, because I have a policy, I just always do. I don't ever want any freebies. But when I was running with them last year on the big festivals, I have to ride in with them because that's the only way they can credential me. So, I was real close to the hotel. Plus, if they need anything driver needs to sleep or anything like that, got it covered. So, so that's why I did that. But that hotel was... Like, man, they really like their hotels out west. But it was.
That's pretty high.
I knew they had raised it high. Yeah, but it was higher than anything for Rockville, and it was higher than anything for.
In California, just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I knew
it's so expensive out here.
I knew it would be. I remember. Look, hey,
I hate it.
They got a lot of beauty out there, but I remember. It was earlier in the 2000s. I remember laughing and seeing like $3 and to $5 for a gallon of gas, and then we started paying. I was like, well, it's not that funny now. But
and like it's hard though. Like I literally can't beat the weather because I spent so much time in Montana and Texas, and I am spoiled rotten in California, in NorCal, because it's like gorgeous. I can drive into the redwoods and like hike, and it's like kind of 60s and 70s and sunny all the time.
That's crazy.
Have you done have you ever done the Winchester House?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like that's like a field trip here. Alcatraz, Winchester. You know, you got those are staples.
Okay, yeah, because that's definitely on my list when I go through. But yeah, that's
There's so many amazing spots and tourist attractions in California. And then it's crazy though. So I used to live for a year in the Pacific Palisades and my apartment burnt down. I was
Ooh,
going to say like
wow.
Malibu and Pacific Palisades is one of the prettiest areas, just gorgeous along the coast. And,
Mhm.
but it's crazy. Like my girlfriend, we shared an apartment together and she texts me like a still from the news. She's like, there's our apartment. I'm like, dude, so many good memories with
That's
like
crazy.
so
Yeah.
many rock stars and it just burnt to the crisp. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
yeah, that entire area, man, the Palisades looked like it
Yeah.
just torched. I was like, God damn, that's sad.
No, like
man.
the city's gone. It's
Yeah.
not just like a row of houses. Like
Right.
the fucking city is like I'm gonna
ground.
go down there in April.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
burnt,
and I
burned all
gotta
the way to
drive-
the water, man. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I'm just like that's. But did you hear Tim Dillon's standout was so funny? Like the billionaire that owns the mall paid like $1 million
Yes.
for private water and private firefighters
Saw
to come in
that.
and stand in front of the mall. So like people's houses are dying with disabled people in them that can't get out, and
Oh,
like people are
God.
trapped and dying.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it, but the millionaire saved the mall with
Yeah.
firefighters that were instructed to just stand in front of it. Which it's so nuts to me.
God, that is.
Yeah.
it's-
California catches a lot of heat for their decision making there.
Yeah, I mean, no matter
We're
what.
led by Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
led to Gavin Newsom, which is not my favorite. I've definitely spoke about him a lot.
Yeah, no matter which way you turn, though, there's not going to be a right turn. I mean, you're going to get kicked in the balls no matter what you do on a lot of those things. But yeah, that's not a fun position I'd want to be in with the mall owner because I protect your property, but
No,
then,
for sure.
but who the hell's going to be shopping there because
Yeah, because you got no more people around you.
yeah.
to
So
go
I mean,
there,
it's
so.
a dual. Like I said, it's a dual-edged
That's
sword.
a great point.
So either way is a bad decision. But no, yeah, we want to have you on today and just kind of pimp your show a little bit because I thought you were a sweet person. I saw you out there doing your job, and I thought that was really cool. And you do have
Thank you.
you do have a really good channel, and we want to point people towards it. So tell us again.
Thank you so much.
Tell us
So
again.
it's Stef's Rock Show, Stef's Rock Show with an F, STEFSROCKSHOW. And I'm full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Clips are on Instagram, X, and TikTok.
I watch a lot of Instagram clips. So yeah,
I don't have Spotify. I should get it, I guess.
I have it because my kids,
I use Apple.
I feel
Music.
I felt guilty getting Spotify because we have lots of friends in the music industry.
Yeah,
But
no.
but I pay for their albums, but I also do. My kids were the ones that were years ago like, we should just get the family plan. And I'm like, all right, and it actually was good because it brought on
Yeah.
Fine and Plus and a lot of different stuff, so it was good. But yeah, Steph has a great show. Please go out there and like and subscribe.
Subscribe
to her.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
subscribe.
Please do. Just like we.
Well,
want-
thank you so much. And thank you so much, you guys, for letting me come by and talk about it. This is like what helps us all out, right? The
Right.
independent and the hard radio and podcasters is cross promotion going on each other's show
Yes.
because we all can't afford to advertise. It's not like I'm buying Google ads over here.
Yeah.
It's
That's
fun
right.
to stop by shows and
That's
talk
right.
about it.
And Steph, let's see. Before we end, the one last question I have for you is, what did you remember? I said I was waiting to finish up for you so I could go get.
Damn, you're waiting to finish up so you can go get it.
Yeah, I was scheduling around you for one reason only. I wanted crawfish.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
You
always eats
want
crawfish.
crawfish?
yeah, I'm going to get crawfish
Oh.
now. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say cocaine or drugs.
No,
and then
no.
I mean, crawfish sounds so
No.
responsible.
It
I don't
does.
remember the responsibility.
Yeah, it's just no, that's too much.
Yeah, Doug's all about the crawfish every day.
All about that crawfish. But anyhow, thanks so much. And like I said, everybody, please go to her Instagram and her YouTube and subscribe and like it. And
Thank you.
Thanks
so
for
much.
joining us.
yeah, thanks for joining us,
Yeah.
Steph. And
Anytime, guys. I'm down to come back on too.
Cool.
we appreciate it. This has been the Nonsense Chronicles. Please like and subscribe.
Later.